Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play and successfully win fights as the Divine Beast's Acrocanthosaurus. Anyway, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm only going to say it once because it helps me a lot, as you all know. Anyway, let's just get straight into this. So, the Divine Beast Acro. The main reason I want to make this video is because a lot of people are starting to use it now since it got these nice new animations. And a lot of people don't know how to play it properly because they haven't been using it for very long. So, today we're going to be covering the best build, all the different abilities that you can use successfully that work well with each other, and what this dinosaur is actually capable of, especially since it's now a 5-slot with a bit less combat weight, a bit less health, but more speed and stamina. So, the first thing to do is select your subspecies. So when you spawn in, obviously, 10% bleed, not bad. 3% attack, not bad. You could use this one, but my personal one to go to is the 3% armor 2023 sub. This big, beefy man. This is probably the best sub you can use for Acro, especially the fact if you combine it with other stuff later on. So, now you've got your subspecies, what abilities should you start with? Well, passives. For now, you want to put Vigorous Spine on. Increases your stamina and recovery by 10%. You can run for longer. This will be useful later on. And when it comes to head attacks, you want to use Sunder. Sunder is the... basically, it is the go-to head attack if you're just starting out Acro and you want to use it properly. Now, Sunder is a bit unique as a charge bite because you can't hold it forever. You can't hold any of them forever, but you can't hold this one for very long. Let me just show you real quick. So you charge it up, and it goes off. Now, all on its own. I didn't even press that. You can't hold it for very long. So the way Sunder works is you use the charge bite, and instead of like a bleeder where you would hit it, run away, or T-Rex where you'd hit it, then dodge a little bit, the best way to use Sunder is you use it and then instantly ram him with the bite. Because what this does is it stuns your target for like half a second. It says a second, but it's not. And they lose some speed and armor by 5% for 5 seconds. And you get more damage and a little bit of bleed on any attack for that same amount of time. So what it can do is it can make Acro do a lot more damage to you what it was normally doing. As the name suggests, it sunders you. And, you know, combining that with the bite, which also does pretty good bleed on its own now, both of those are fantastic for beginners. Next up, Senses. Now, DB Acro is a solo-based dinosaur. You don't really need to group with it. It is literally a solo-based small apex, I guess you'd say. And you could use Solitary Stalker, but because it only lasts for the first hit, it's more like an ambush. Reclusive Ravager is the best one to go. You get that armor, again, mix that with the subspecies, we're up to 8%, and you gain attack damage, another 5%, which, you know, stacks with the Sunder Bite, giving you an extra 10% in total, for a little bit. Next up, you want the Claw. So the Claw Swipe, pretty good, gives you more acceleration and movement speed, but it also increases your turning, by the way, but you actually have to hit it, ends up not being able to use bites because of that. The best thing to do, honestly, for a beginner is just put Counterbalance on. Let me show you the precise turn without Counterbalance. So, you know, little bit of a turn, then we slap on Counterbalance, and you can see that increase instantly. It's so much better. Then Metabolism, stick Hypercarnivore on, it's the best one there. Hides. Now, the hides are very different. For the beginners, you're probably going to want either Resilient Scales or Marathoner. So you can either run for longer, or be resistant to bleed and venom. Both of those two, pretty fine. Marathon, I will say, stacks really nicely with Vigorous Spine, the passive, and the Stamina subspecies. You can get a lot of stamina with this. Next, Backlimb, simple, just a charge run, works as normal. Tail Attack, casual Tail Attack, just slap this on. This does low damage, but a bit of knockback, it's pretty good. And then for the voices, now, Towering Presence is useful, I will get into that, but Power Up is just the best one. Like, it is literally just so much better, and this is the Acro build you want to use. For the general part of Acrocanthosaurus life, you want to have these abilities, and this setup, usually. And the way you would go about fighting as this, with this setup, is you would run in at someone with Sunder, land the Sunder on them, obviously charge up fully, fight them a few times, keep going, and then tail attack them, back off a bit, do your voice buff, Sunder again, rinse, repeat, maybe even let them bleed a little bit. Depends what you're fighting. If it's big and slow, let it bleed out a little bit at least, and then go in and brute force it. If it's something small and fast, don't waste all your stamina, but trot after it. Unless you obviously have fracture, bone break, or bleed yourself, then don't obviously do that. That's just like Battle 101. But for smaller things, this build is pretty good, you know? Or you can even decide to let them come to you, use your increased precise turning, and just make sure that even if they get on your tail attack them. And the best thing to do is if someone's on your tail, let's say you tail attack them, and it pushes them this way, you then want to also turn that way so you face them quicker. Because if I push someone this way and then go this way, it's the long way round. Not very good. However, I will quickly mention something. DB Acro's tail attack, you see how it starts off that way and swings that way? What this means is you can't turn this way and tail attack someone properly like that. A little bit flawed in the design, but hey, you can still do it by going this way. So always turn left when you're doing the tail attack if you want to like kite someone. You know, like let's say this log is a player. If I wanted to kite them, I would hit them like that and then move away. Something like that. You can't really do that the other way because, like, yeah, it doesn't actually go that way. Kind of sucks, but hey, it still works. Now, for any of you who are more experienced on Acro and don't want to use Sunder, try Bash. Now, Bash, you want to also change your passive to Stout Spine. This, overall, pretty good. What Bash does is if you move with it, so moving forward, you can not walk, you can trot and sprint with it. It uses a bit of stamina, but it's pretty good. It allows you to, it does lock you in place. It's a very hard attack to use, but it gives you a bit of damage and turning boosting. It stacks 3 times. If you hit 2 people at once, it gives you 2 stacks. Hit 3 people, gives you 3 stacks in one ability. It's pretty useful like that. And it does a lot of damage. I believe it does 80 damage, if I am not mistaken, which is more than T-Rex's bite. However, this is on a long cooldown. But here is a little strategy that you can do. Whether it's intended or not, I'm not sure. But let's say I want to use it and my target is over there. I can turn whilst doing Bash, and it lets me, for some reason, it carries my turn over. So if I'm sprinting and I want to go that way, do Bash whilst turning that way, and it lets you slide. It's kind of like a juke, but not really. It's pretty cool, though. And something I see a lot of people say is, it's not good in a face tank. Well, let me just use this log. Please have a hitbox. It does. Right. So you see how I'm walking forwards, but I'm not actually moving, but it's letting me use Bash. You can do this in a face tank. Because of how hot hitboxes work, like even other dinosaurs, you can use this in a face tank as a pretty good ability. It does more damage than Sunder, bit of a longer cooldown, but it works really well. Plus, it can stack your own damage up. Now, sometimes it will push you through, like, not through the person, but away, and then you'll slide out. But, you know, just quickly precise turn around, and you're good to go. So, that is how you use Bash and Sunder. However, there may be some of you who want to focus more on bleeding and want to go sauropod hunting. Well, the way you do that is you equip Mutilating, the default bite. Then you want to put Robust Scales on, and Towering Presence. So, what you can do here is, you start off with Towering Presence, right? So, what this does is, it will lower, it's a bit loud, it'll lower these sauropods' turning and armor. Now, that's not too bad. You know, lowering its turning, pretty good, because I know a lot of the sauropods in this game have a lot of turning for some reason. And then, what you want to do is simply hit them with Mutilating, just Mutilating, default bite, Mutilating, default bite, on their legs, neck, wherever you can reach. Try to avoid the tail, focus getting the front, especially with something like Argent, or even a Marga. You want to try and stay at the front. Now, robust scales, what does this allow you to do? Well, let's say there's an Argent in front of me and I'm trying to bleed it out. You know, I've ran in for an attack, or no, I've not ran in yet, but I'm about to. Now, I've debuffed it. I want to go run in, but it's going to hit me as soon as I try. What you can do is you can run in, tank a hit with robust scales, and whilst its tails attacks or whatever are on cooldown, run in, fight them a bit, do some bleed, and then run out. Then you wait for the combat timer to go, get robust scales again, rinse, repeat. And what it basically does is it allows you to heal basically minimal damage that you take, since it blocks a huge chunk of damage. Especially from just dinosaurs that attack slowly. It works really well against that. Hell, you could even use it against a T-Rex, just by bleeding a T-Rex out and trading. You don't need to, but you could. Now, I'm going to quickly show you a fight of me just playing DB Acro, hopefully against something pretty strong. And you guys can see how it actually works in combat, all of this stuff. Alright, so here we are, about to fight a Titan. Right. So, we hit him with the Sunder. Now we want to try and get in there. Turned pretty badly. Hit him with the tail, push him away, give ourselves a voice buff, heal up a little bit. Right, now we rush him with another Sunder. Oh, we missed it. Whoops. Right. Hit him that side with the tail. Good, good, good. Should probably do it again. There we go. Now we run with the Sunder again. And this time, we want to just go all out on him. Not quite a face tank, so like try and stick to their side. Like that. Works perfectly. Hit them again. We go in for another Sunder yet again. Tried to dodge that fight there. But just like that, he's getting low. And there we go. That is how you play DB Acro with Sunder. Now, we're going to do the exact same thing, but with Bash. Alright. So, here we are, fighting the same Titan again. This time I did my voice buff early, because I'm going to need it to help stack up the Bash. Now, you can see here, I am using Bash in a face tank despite not moving. I wasn't lying, you can do that. And, like I said before, sometimes you slip by, you just gotta recorrect yourself. I'm just waiting, there we go, had the perfect angle. Now we just keep fighting into him. He hit us with a pretty good heavy bite there. Oh, we're gonna lose the stacks. Oh, we lost the stacks, it's fine, it's fine. We can just get it back. Bash him again. There we go. Did the little turn trick. Right, we are bleeding a lot. Hit him with another one of those. Bash again, and he is down! Just like that. So that is how you use Bash on the Divine Beast Acro. You've just seen me fight a pretty mid-Tyranititan player, like mediocre at best. That is what you're going to see averagely across most servers. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And the builds clearly work. You know, even against a better Tyranititan, sure it would have been closer, but I think Acro, if played right, still can come out on top pretty often. Anyway, now that you know how to play Acro, and now you know what builds to use and what its stuff actually can do, as well as a new animation, hopefully more people will start playing this thing because, my lord, I enjoy it a lot. Anyway, thank you for watching, take care everyone, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.